Hey guys, welcome to the Roundtable. I'm Amir.
I'm Jason.
I'm Allison.
And this week we're talking about Masamune, which is also known as the 2.0 update for PlayStation 4, and some adverse effects for the PlayStation. Even though the update is cool and has some really awesome features, which we were talking about just before we started here, and we'll recap on that. I was talking about SharePlay, and you guys haven't tried it yet. Okay,
Not
so
yet. We
so
probably will soon.
we probably shouldn't have talked about it before the show because now I'm going to bore you, but I have to say it again
Go for it.
everybody watching. But so I tried SharePlay immediately because I thought it was cool that somebody else could take control of a second player controller or take control of my controller. So now they can like kind of try stuff. So SharePlay apparently is way more than that because on paper it sounds cool, but in actuality, by execution when it works, it's way more than cool. It's just amazing. So me and my friend said, okay, let's try out SharePlay, and we realized that we go into party chat, and now there's a button there that says, SharePlay. So you press on that, and then you can host a SharePlay session where you could give them control of your controller or give them control of the second player controller. The key thing there is that we're in a party chat. We're not stopping. Mm-hmm. We're continuing to talk. So now what was supposed to just be a test to see how it works ended up being this 4-hour play session for 4 hours of me saying, oh, you don't have hockey, right? You got to check out the new hockey game. And I put in NHL 15, and then he's playing against me for a period. And then he's like, oh, cool. Oh, hey, you never got Black Flag Assassin's Creed. You should check this out. And he actually turned me back on to Assassin's Creed with Black Flag. And I got to play it for, 15, 20 minutes just to demo it and try one of these pirate ship battles because I've never seen one of those. And then we just went back and forth. And then we just talked before the show where I said, I still want to try out some other things. Two of the things that I thought were really cool was one, actually tonight after the show, the same friend I'm going to be testing to see if I could turn on my PS4. And I don't know if this is possible, where I'm going to try to turn on my PS4 from remote play and see if I can host a SharePlay session for him so that this way he could tell me, because I just bought Wolf Among Us and he knows nothing about it, or I could be, at the office and he can call me up and be like, hey man, I'm home, I'm bored. I want to try out Wolf Among Us, see if it's worth buying. I'll be like, all right, cool. Just open up my Vita, turn on my PS4 for him, go to SharePlay, and be like, okay, play for an hour. So I'm not sure if that would work, but if it does, that's awesome. But yeah, and the other thing is 2K, from what I understand, I don't have NBA 2K15, but from what I understand, NBA 2K15 has some pretty bad lag when people play online. So the other thing I wanted to try, I know WWE 2K15 is coming out, and that's also 2K. I don't know if it's going to use the same servers. I don't know if it's going to be laggy. But another thing that I thought of with SharePlay that maybe a lot of people haven't thought of is that now if there's really bad lag online, like in NBA 2K15 or in WWE 2K15 or any game really that has bad lag online, but it's a two-player local game, I experienced no lag at all on SharePlay. So, yeah, if 2K servers are having issues, just do SharePlay and have somebody play kind of locally. And then you, instead of playing on that server, you're playing on PlayStation Network servers, and you've eliminated that lag. So, I think feature-wise, there's a lot more than how it was messaged.
I actually didn't think about this when we were talking earlier, but now it came to my head. Is it only for one person to do, or can you do it with multiple people?
That's another thing I want to try, which is why I was kind of pitching it to you guys, because I would love to start a party later on tonight, if you guys are free, and just to see if we can get like 4 people, like maybe with Diablo, because I know Rob, the person I'm testing with, I know that Rob has doesn't have Diablo.
Oh, okay.
But it'd be cool to see if like the 3 of us could play, and then get him in.
Well, I'm wondering if it could go even further than that. Like, if you can eventually get to the point where you're doing like 4 people, how much could you stress it to? Like, say we could get...
And then what the lag would look like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like what's a game that uses a lot of players? Right now, something that comes out of my head is maybe like, I haven't played the newest Killzone, but I remember 2 and 3, I think you could have up to 16, was it 16 players per map? Like when it was versus? Was it 16 or 32? But it was a large amount.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want to say it was 16 because there's 8-man teams.
The other thing that we noticed, and we were really trying to test it out, but it was just 2 of us, But we started getting like really close to our TV to see like if there was any pixelation, like if it's compressing video or whatever, and it is.
Yeah.
We noticed that there's some compression there. When I was showing him the game, he was looking for compression, and he saw a couple of little boxes here and there, and I saw a few imperfections in Assassin's Creed.
But
So
was it sporadic or was it across the entire?
no, it was sporadic, and it was something you really wouldn't notice at all.
Unless
I
you're
do
really
know
looking for
that they did mention that it drops from 1080p to 720p.
That's not easy.
So, but I didn't even notice the difference. I honestly don't understand this whole 900p, 1080p crap. But I
will
really
say, once you eventually get to the point where you see 4K, you'll notice a difference.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen 4K and I was like, holy shit. You know, but I mean 4K compared to 1080.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, that's a huge leap. But 720 to 1080, I mean, unless you're really looking, or you switch straight from a 1080p game to a 720, maybe.
It also depends on the size of your TV and how much it can support up to.
Yeah,
Because
and how far away you're sitting from it too
Exactly.
is a major factor.
I wonder though, if that was just you and him, would that be more? Would that happen more if you have more people playing? Because it's going across multiple TVs.
I don't know. I don't even know if more people can be
Yeah.
part of that. So, I mean, that's something I definitely want to try out tonight if you guys are down.
We
And
can try
then maybe next week, you know, we'll whatever the topic is, we'll just quickly, you know, chime in and let you guys know what we found. Yeah, so I think it's cool. I mean, I was having so much. We were supposed to test the entire update, and I was having so much fun with SharePlay. I didn't even try changing my theme. You know, like the
Yeah, we
color
did
or the
that.
backdrop. I didn't even try doing the YouTube thing.
I did the theme. She did it right before we did it. And there's a couple free themes right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that they brought that back because I hated having your just bland background.
Yeah.
I like bringing that back, and especially if they're going to start being people that bring more and more and more. And right now they're kind of okay, but what I actually do like is some of the custom ones that aren't just the PS basic one with a different color. It's changing the background. Most of the time they're dynamic, so there's some form
Oh, very cool.
Most
Yeah.
of them are there's some form of a movement. They change all the sounds of like,
Oh,
switching between icons.
so basically just like what PS3
and
had.
music.
there's music.
There was this
playing
one
in
that
the
was
background.
spiraled that sounded almost like hard rock going on constantly in the background. So it makes me very curious of like if people start supporting and throwing out more, because you remember PS3, they had
Oh,
yeah.
how many
It
things?
PS3 media server, that website. Did you guys bookmark that on your PS3s? Because I did that all the time.
Oh my god.
Oh man, PS3.
So if they're starting, once now that
Wait,
this
I
is
think
released,
I think I named it wrong. I don't think it was PS3 media server. It was some kind of website where
Yeah.
they just had
custom.
they just had a
dynamic
whole
themes.
bunch of like dynamic themes that people were making.
And that's what I'm saying. Is like with the new system, with this now it's out, and people start cranking them out. What could some of them end up being? Because
Yeah.
even on the PS3, some of them were very
Really cool.
yeah.
Really cool. My favorite themes on my PS3 were user made from
The
that
one-
website.
The one I've got on the one in our bedroom is it's rectangles or something like that, but it's a bunch of like square 3D rectangles,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very reminiscent. It brings me memories back of the PS2.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
it's bright
I know what
white.
you're talking about.
The only thing I don't like about it is because it's so damn bright, your icons mix in with it. So it's like you can't you have your main toolbar and then you have your subs.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't read that.
Yeah,
anymore because it's
yeah.
so
That was a lot of I had that problem with a lot of themes, but yeah, and some of them did have this different sounds, and then those would annoy me.
Yeah,
Sometimes they'd just
yeah.
be really
I
annoying
couldn't
sounds.
get used to the noise.
These aren't
Yeah.
too bad so far.
Yeah.
So far.
I mean, right now they're official, so I'm sure that they're quality tested. But on the dark side of things, PlayStation is not having a good PR week at all. Maybe 2 weeks, because it all started with Drive Club, right? Like, I mean, Drive Club was something that I wanted to get into because I'm not crazy about racing games unless they're simulations. Drive Club was kind of like in the middle, but I like the aspect of like a party game that's a racing game. And we all know that Drive Club had its issues, and they're still pumping out updates and still not able to resolve their online issues. But now, Masamune, the 2.0 update comes, and now there's a lot more crap going on. So the update came, and now if you put your system on standby, and you try to turn your system back on from rest mode, that's what they call standby now, is rest mode. If you try to take it out of rest mode, you'll see something very scary, which is that just yellow pulsing light or amber light that just keeps pulsing, but your PS4 does not turn on. And for anybody that has had yellow light of death, that is scary shit. So, and I've had yellow light of death. And, yeah, I am just glad that I did the gaming news in 2 minutes just prior to turning on my PS4 because then I knew what was going on. But it still, it did make me mad that something like that had passed through. And there was that, and I understand that there's issues with the YouTube app, but I haven't tested that. But I understood that they were freezing
I thought it was fine. We
Did you
watched
use it?
3 or 4 just random YouTube.
Oh, I think it
videos
was
on
like if you upload something.
Oh,
I think that's
yeah.
what it was. Or are you able to view on? You've used the YouTube app on the PS4? I haven't even gotten to that.
Yeah.
So how is it?
We use the
viewing is-
search, and I like it because
It's a lot better than the
you
PS3
start it up,
one.
and then it immediately makes it full
sure.
screen. So.
The PS3 one.
Really?
Terrible.
Okay. How hard is it to like search for stuff or?
Not really.
It's not too bad. It's kind of a pain because it's got the search bar, and then it's like you just have the alphabet, and you have to go to each one individually. But then it starts to pop up with like, do you want this? So then you can just go up and you can just select whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
And
That's
it'll
cool.
even do like, like the full sentences of whatever the most popular search for.
I'm probably asking for
ours,
too much here, but does it have any kind of voice recognition? Like, can you say
We
what to
haven't
search
tested
for?
it yet.
We haven't
have,
played with that yet.
We have a camera, but we haven't it's unplugged right now.
I mean, you'd assume, our smartphones could do that. Why can't I just do that on the PlayStation? Get with it. Get with the program.
Well, even with this new remember with the new patch that just came out, it even said that if you have a camera, voice recognition is a big part of it now.
Yeah. Well, it's more like for commands, but it doesn't seem to be able, like voice recognition. I mean, like if you say something, it'll like translate.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to send a PlayStation message, I think it'd be really cool if you could send the message and just.
Well, I think that it has.
They have a
send
voice message thing.
message,
Yeah, they have a voice message thing, but there's nothing that converts the voice to text.
Yeah.
Like you do on your cell phone. Like now when I have to text message somebody or send an email or, I'm in Google Hangouts, I don't really type on my phone all the time unless I don't want people to know what I'm about to say. Like I'll just hold down the mic button and then I'll just say whatever I want to type and then it types it in for me and I just hit send and I'm done. It'd be cool if PlayStation finally had that. But the horror story doesn't end there. Evolve had an alpha for this weekend, for this past weekend, and that's when it was scheduled for, and I was actually supposed to be part of that alpha. And instead I got an email from 2K telling me, hey, sorry, but, due to issues with the PlayStation 4 network and the update, we're not going to be able to... not that we won't be able to, but the alpha has been delayed. If you'd like to play Evolve now, here is a code you can use on your Xbox One or your PC. And I was like, oh my God, I just got an email. I'm a PlayStation 4 owner. I don't own an Xbox One. And I just got told by a third party, here's a code if you want to do it on Xbox One because we can't do it on the PS4. And to me, that's like, holy shit, that's a big deal. That's a really, really big deal. And I wish I was prepared, but there was this article, and I think it was Kotaku. Have you guys seen like my Facebook page? I posted it on there, and I was like, yeah, I was so proud of it. I'm gonna try to look it up.
I think I might know what you're talking about.
Was that my doorbell?
Yeah, it was your doorbell.
Is that pizza?
That is
That
pizza.
probably is. You might want to go check on that.
I'll be right back because that's pizza, and pizza's the most important thing in the world right now. I'll be right back.
Okay.
You guys go ahead.
What was the article we're talking about?
It was on my Facebook page.
You might want to go check
What's it about?
You'll have to scroll for a bit, so.
Okay.
And I think that's what he was talking about. I remember him posting something, but I don't remember. Oh my God, I forgot. I keep saying people post about that, and that's making it. GTA 5 is going to be on next gen is going to be really good. Now adding in first person, but even shooting. God. And
Did you see GTA 5 gets 4K support?
yeah, so that's amazing. And I think it's guaranteed we're going to have to be buying it. You know that.
GTA 5?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we should pre-order it on the PlayStation because it's got all
All the extra shiny stuff.
the extra shinies.
But even the graphic upgrade, just the graphic upgrades and everything else, it's going to be worth it, hands down. And I'm glad that they're doing that. And even the 360 HD redone of San Andreas.
Yeah, I seen that too.
How do we get to that?
Your last thing you posted was GTA 5.
Oh,
so we were just talking about
Oh.
Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, yeah.
Is that
Telling
what you
people to go to my
referring
Facebook page is not the smartest thing to do when you're a crazy freaking gamer. Oh my god, pizza! Oh my god. I'm sorry, I know I'm really close to the mic. If I fucked up your speaker, send me the bill. And I won't pay it. Why is this mic on? Brian's not here.
Yeah, because they've been getting echoes this whole video.
I'm sure.
Echo.
Oh my god, pizza! Oh my god, pizza. We don't need plates.
Or napkins.
Nah, we don't need
Or
that
anything.
shit.
Okay.
Fuck that. We'll just go all in.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that was exciting though. The Grand Theft Auto. That's why I put it on my Facebook. Grand Theft Auto 5, first person view, and like not just like the mod where it's like, okay, well now it's first person. And,
Yeah.
No, it's actual official.
Yeah, they like.
I'm wondering how it's going to affect the shooting because, like, certain games like Metal
They're
Gear.
saying like first person shooter. Like they actually changed the mechanics for that.
Because even the third person, it seemed, even though some of the guns seemed accurate, it still had a little issues I had that were a little wonky. But like certain games like Metal Gear, when you switch into first person, I've always enjoyed. So I'm very curious.
Have you?
Oh yeah, because like
I hated Metal Gear's first person.
I actually didn't mind it.
What is this square button to shoot crap? Like,
Oh.
It depended on the situation. If it was just a hectic battle, I don't mind the third person. But if it was something in which I was very like, because I'll wait for a certain opportune moment.
Yeah.
That's when I'll switch to a first person. I prefer it.
yeah,
that way.
yeah. And I think that's the only way it would have worked in those Metal Gears anyway, because they had you like stand still. It was like a specific, you had to really take your position.
And for that gameplay, I mean, it was done very well for the Metal
Yeah.
Gear, like Metal Gear 4.
Oh yeah, definitely Metal Gear
Yeah.
4. Yeah, and I can't even imagine what 5 is gonna be like.
This is way off topic, but I guess I was one of the few people. I actually didn't mind the multiplayer they had on Metal Gear 4. It was wonky, but
Yeah.
I think it was also still in the early stages of multiplayer games for like the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
So with how it's come so far, I wonder how that's going to operate now, because I think they have said it will have a multiplayer function on it.
Yeah, I think they did. I think they did mention multiplayer.
I wonder how it'll operate.
I don't know
If
how-
it'll be the same, like, I guess, system.
To be honest, I Metal Gear Solid and an online component just don't matter to me.
Like,
That's
Like-
why I think playing Mass Effect 3. Why did we
Yeah.
bother?
Yeah.
and we've had this
RPG,
discussion too, like certain
why?
games that are like story based, like Dead Space, 2. It was blatantly thrown in trying to make more sales.
Of all the things I dislike about Watch Dogs, I think that's the one thing I like about something like Watch Dogs or Demon's Souls. I like it when there's a unique approach to online, when like a developer realizes like, okay, the traditional multiplayer doesn't work.
Especially for that game system.
Yeah, for this specific type of game, a multiplayer doesn't work. So let's not try to do something half-assed. Let's do something different. You know, in Demon's Souls, it was let's show the ghost of somebody else dying. Let's let them write messages to each other. You know, in this way, that's how
Demon's Souls, that would have multiplayer, because it was already hard enough. But if you throw in multiplayer, you would have either had to increase the difficulty on enemies or something, because if you had multiple people, you could just easily distract while the other one just beats the shit out.
Oh yeah. No, but there you go. So that's still not the end of all the stuff that went bad on
there's a
PlayStation. The other thing that went bad is that a lot of people had purchased preloaded versions of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, which comes out today, right?
I think it was today.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everyone else it's Tuesdays, while Nintendo's it's Friday.
Let me help you out there.
Yeah, they didn't cut that well.
They don't have to cut it well. Just take the whole pizza
Yeah.
in half and then just
Pizza taco.
Dude. Pizza taco. Yeah, so that wasn't the end of it either. We had Call of Duty, what they called a Day Zero release. You preloaded the game and then you were able to kind of play it a little bit in advance. Well, as it turns out, that preload didn't work. Now I don't know for sure if Sony's to blame on that. It might just be Activision and their servers or something on their end. I don't know. But it doesn't bode well for PlayStation that people preloaded it to save that time, a pre-download so that you could just go in and start playing. And the game didn't work for those people. So what's the fix? uninstall the preloaded game and now install the whole game, which defeats the whole purpose of the preload. So, I mean, Sony is really having a tough week. Now, why are we bringing this up? Besides the fact that they're having this tough week, we're also seeing on the Xbox One front, they're getting updates every month. And they're really heavy, meaningful updates.
Well, they've always been pretty, even on 360, we're always pretty fast on getting patches out.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sony has had this one major update.
Yeah.
And we have all of these problems. Now, if we look back at the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, we know that the Xbox 360 definitely outperformed for pretty much most of those years the PlayStation 3 until finally towards the end the PlayStation 3 caught up. And yeah, it was a much, after all the price drops, PS3 was obviously the better way to go, was the better deal. And they had a lot more going for them towards the end. But I don't know. What do you guys think of like people's opinion with all of this publicity? And I realize that 1 week isn't going to shape, their business.
Well, every company. I mean, even with last gen, all of them had. You had that one period when Xbox Live got hacked for a while. Wasn't? I think it was down for like almost a month, wasn't it? Or it was a very
PlayStation
long
Network?
It was PlayStation.
No, the 360's Xbox Live was down for a while because they got hacked first.
When was this?
It was a long time before the PS3, PSN.
I don't remember them getting hacked.
They got hacked. And I don't think it was as long, but they did get hacked.
Okay.
And then the PSN got hacked, and it was down for freaking ever.
Yeah. PlayStation Network, I remember, was like over 30 days.
I bet you that's what started the whole free games. Because remember, it was down for so long, so they said for everyone to make up for it, here's free games. And I bet you that's the incentive where they realized, well, let's do PlayStation Plus and we'll start giving them free games. That's another incentive. But, I mean, all systems...
that is actually interesting. I wonder if, like, when they said, here's all the free games, if there was some kind of spike or something, and they recognized that and said, oh... maybe we can do something with this.
That's what my thought process is, because it was after that.
I didn't even think of relating those. That's good.
Yeah.
But,
and it kept people happy, and it kept people
because
staying with PlayStation.
My past experiences, I know problems happen, and a month is rough. I mean, that upset me for a while, but even then, though, I mean, they got it back up and it was sincerely apologized. But then to come back and say, we're so sorry. Here's a list of games. Download for free. We don't care. That's good. I mean, PR in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
But all systems are going to have their problems. Xbox is going to have their problems. I mean, hell, the Xbox One had a very rocky start because of all the fallout that they had when they announced
Don Matrick fucked up Xbox One. That's all I'm going to say. If it wasn't for Don Matrick, I'm pretty sure the messaging would have been much better for Xbox One. I mean, like, he just had an attitude about him that just made me want to slap him every single time I saw him. It was like, oh, well, people who can't connect and be connected, we have a product for them. It's called the Xbox 360. Smack. Oh. You're an idiot.
But I mean, even when they announced, the PS4 and then the Xbox One, it was rocky for Xbox because all the stuff they announced, they had to retract on all of it. Yeah. And, I can understand it turned off a lot of people, but it turned me off, to be honest, because I was not happy with some of the stuff they were doing. It doesn't turn me off to eventually getting one, because I will eventually want to get one now. It's just like with the Wii U.
I'm one game away.
For Xbox One?
Yeah, remember I said there has to be 5 exclusives? They need one more. And if Quantum Break is good, I'm on it.
Well, I've already got friends that are playing. We were talking about this on the way over. That my friend Dude and Chris and them, they were playing Sunset Overdrive, and I've not heard a single bad thing about that game.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of Let's Plays about it. There was one thing that I didn't like, is that from what I understand, I haven't played it, so don't judge me here, but from what I understand is that there's some grindy parts, like there's a little bit of grinding involved in that game, and that turns me off a little bit. But that is one of my exclusives that are saying, okay, go get an Xbox One.
Yeah, but it depends on how much grinding.
Well, they said
it's like hours worth of grinding. That's
well, they
one
said
thing,
that they keep
like,
the missions interesting. Like they'll introduce like new mechanics and stuff like that. Like you're not doing the same stuff in every one.
See, I like that because like in certain games like Infamous or something like that, or like the original Assassin's Creed, it was the same mission. It feels like grind over and over and over again.
This is the biggest slice ever.
Jesus.
Oh, did they not even bother?
They didn't even bother cutting this one.
Hey,
well, I guess
pizza taco.
But yeah,
Now I need a plate and a napkin.
There is a little bit of a cut. But
Is
not
there?
Much.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, the one tiny.
No, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
But no, like they were telling me, and I'm in the a group chat, and they talk about it, and it sounds in some of the stuff I've seen. In one of the Kotaku, I think was it Kotaku or IGN, talking about it's great to actually have a crazy zany shooter again. Because even I admit, because I loved Ratchet and Clank, and I love that gameplay to where it doesn't have to be sincere about it. Just have a good time.
And that kind of upsets me a little bit because Into the Nexus, Ratchet and Clank came out, and I didn't hear anything of it. And when I think of Sunset Overdrive, I think of Ratchet and Clank. I think like, well, yeah, okay.
Well, it's Insomniac, ain't it?
Yeah. It is the same people, but Into the Nexus, I mean, I go on Amazon now, I could buy it for like $15. It's so, it's already like a bargain bin game. And it's like, man,
did they really market it that much though?
They really didn't.
That might be another reason why. And actually, I didn't even realize about this. I remember when they first announced it, and then it was just like, you don't hear anything about it. Do you know they're making a movie of Ratchet and Clank? And I actually seen screenshots, and it looks, it's just like
2015?
I think so.
Yeah. 2015 is an insane freaking year for gaming.
Gaming and movies and everything.
I really think like that's going to be the really, really. I mean, I've said this countless times before, but really, 2015 is the year.
For now, and then eventually it'll probably be 2016.
I mean, like, because we all look back at 2008. If we look at a lot of the big AAA franchises and big games that came out, like, was it Red Dead Redemption was 2008? I know the first Dead Space was 2008.
Was Red Dead that year, or was it?
Or was it the 2010 game? And maybe Grand Theft Auto 4 was 2008. Anyway, I know that 2008 was a huge AAA year. It was like a big year for gaming. At least as a PlayStation gamer, because I was PS3.
Yeah.
No, it was all around. It was a good year for all forms. It didn't matter what game system you played. It was a good year, period.
Yeah, and 2015 is looking to like blow it away. I mean,
now that we're finally getting
Batman
games
Arkham, Witcher 3, that Ratchet and Clank movie now, Metal Gear Solid 5.
Now that we're finally getting games to come out on our next gen consoles. No, I'm right, but also going backtracking a bit. I'm not. It's still not a must buy for me, an Xbox One, but I would still like to have one eventually. But it's still one of those that there still needs to be a little bit more before I'm enough to be like, okay, I can justify it now. And also, it's the money right now because a Wii U was more of a must buy for us instead of an Xbox One. But I do eventually want to get one, especially after Sunset Overdrive and, of course, Master Chief Collection. And I don't know about Halo 5, but, still. There will be enough to be out there to where I'd be, okay, I got to get one. Where I can justify it.
And I will say that I like that Microsoft is pushing to make the sale. Like the way it was last generation, price drops were just permanent price drops. There were no temporaries.
Yeah.
Now it's like Xbox is like, oh, we're behind. Well, for this next couple of months, you can get everything for $50 cheaper.
Yeah.
Actually, was it Microsoft that started?
Right.
I thought I read that it was actual retail stores that started that, and then Microsoft jumped on the bandwagon and said, okay, well, fuck it, everyone's going to give them $50 off.
Yeah, retailers, have sales all the time. I know that Sony has one going on also with the Destiny bundle, I think. I just went to GameStop today to pick up Wolf Among Us, which I can't wait to play. Because I haven't played any of the episodes. I was waiting till today. Today being Tuesday, November 4th, by the way. So you'll see this tomorrow, Wednesday. And I went in there and I thought I saw, there is this big GameStop thing where like you could trade in your PS3 and get $125. So you get $125 towards your for your PS3 if it's towards a brand new PlayStation 4. That includes the bundle, and they have a price cut on the bundle too, which I think is $40. So you end up getting like a PlayStation 4 for like ridiculously cheap if you're trading up. And I have to be honest, it's starting to happen. I have that backlog, and that's why I jumped into my Oh, sorry, Brian. That's why I jumped into my backlog where I went to Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and now Assassin's Creed Revelations because I haven't beat all the Assassin's Creeds, which I have an apology to make on that, but I'll get to that in a bit. But I'm trying to get into my my backlogs now, to beat all of those games because I'm realizing that I have absolutely no drive now to play PlayStation 3 anymore. I'm realizing like everything is officially now for me PlayStation 4. There's nothing PS3 that I'm really excited about anymore.
I was because I started playing Mass Effect again.
Oh, well, yeah.
I have completely neglected my PlayStation 4 for a week and a half now.
And I was actually tempted this past weekend until I got Heroes of the Storm, but I was on the borderline of hopping in Fallout 3 again.
Oh, yeah?
The
That's
problem,
funny. I just downloaded it last night on PC.
because I've got it for PC and I can play through it, but it's like it still nicks at me that I almost platinumed it on PS3, and then all the DLC hit. So it's always I've always had that. Well, I want to go back and play it. But the problem was when I bought the game, we got the Game of the Year edition, and I started playing it. God, was it about a year ago? Mm-hmm. You get to the owl section and it locks up, like right at the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
On PS3?
On PS3, and it's only the Game of the Year version. If you play,
okay, yeah, because I had the original.
So if you play the original version, it's fine.
Yeah.
And of course, there's people, and they haven't updated it in forever because it's an older game. Mm-hmm. I did read up some walkthroughs, and people were saying you got to wait for this, do this, or do this, and it should be all right.
Yeah.
So I was tempted to do it again. I ended up, then of course I found out about I had Heroes of the Storm Alpha, and I was like, oh shit, okay, never mind. But it's still back there because I played the hell out of Fallout 3.
The reason I got Fallout 3 was because I've been actively trying to get like this custom build for Skyrim going, and it's been like a little over a year now. Mm-hmm. And I was totally new to modding and installing mods, so I was horrible at it, and I had to rebuild Skyrim 14 times. And I just so happened to bump into another modder, finally, where it's like live, and he was on Twitch, and we were able to communicate back and forth, and he was a friend of a friend. So he made me feel a lot better about myself. He was like, my Skyrim build took a year, and I was rebuilding tons of times, and I have a lot of experience in modding. He's like, so don't, it's totally fine. That's just how it goes. And I'm like, okay, well, then in that case, I feel a lot better about it. I knew I wasn't being a complete idiot, but, I felt like it because I had no experience. And then he started to, because he realized that I was into Skyrim modding and I was just about to start a Skyrim, even though it crashes every 30 minutes, which is what I thought. I'll get to that too in a second. He started showing me Fallout. And apparently Fallout has been modded all this time, just like Skyrim. Mm-hmm. So he's showing me these beautiful sunsets, beautiful sunrises, excellent freaking textures all over the place. Some of the things I even recognized from Skyrim, like the different weather effects that they had implemented, I was just like, oh man. I was like, okay, I'm sold. And they just had the Halloween sale on Steam, and Fallout 3 was in there.
Nice.
Game of the Year for $7.50. I was like, okay, all DLC and the game for $7.50. I'll do it. And then I bumped into Soul Reaver for $1.39.
Oh my god.
And I was like, okay, well, I don't know if I'll ever touch that game again. But just the fact that, like, I can own it again, I was like, yeah, for $1.39. But,
That's ridiculous.
yeah, I was just like, oh my god. And I told you guys I was trying to find The Walking Dead Season 1 and Season 2, and I really just care about the trophies because I platinum Season 1, which basically means I beat the game, because it pretty much just gives you the platinum for beating the game. But I played Season 1 on PS3, and I wanted to get Season 2 for PlayStation 4, and maybe even upgrade, Season 1 to PlayStation 4. But I was looking for Season 2, and sold out everywhere. I went to Kmart, I went to Walmart, I went to GameStop, I went to Best Buy, I went to, like, this Joe Schmo store called CM Games. Nobody had it. Everybody was sold out. And I was like, well, what the hell? I go into Steam in that Steam sale, and Wolf Among Us is there for $12. The Walking Dead Season 2, $12. I'm like, wow, I could get both of them, and it would still be $5 cheaper than me buying Season 2 at the store. And it almost hooked me. If it wasn't for trophies, it's your saving grace, PlayStation. If it wasn't for trophies, I would have already been playing Season 2.
Yeah, because I almost started playing Mass Effect on PC, but I'm like, kind of don't care about the trophies, but I kind of want them anyways.
Yeah,
And then,
I'm there
then
too.
the concept of having to install Origin.
Yeah, I'm about to face that because I rebought Mass Effect Trilogy on PC because I wanted to mod it. I don't know who is ringing my doorbell right now. It better not be Domino's. I'm not answering it. I'm not home. Anyway.
There are no lights on.
Ding, 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 ding.
Well, Maybe it's a surprise guest. Who knows? Let's see who's at the door.
Maybe it's
You
Brian.
guys,
Who knows? Maybe it's
talk
Brian.
amongst yourselves then.
No,
This
God.
is
I'll give you a topic.
it's me.
But no, you were yeah, Mass Effect 3. I'm glad that you ended up staying with the PS3 version and getting the DLC because I was really
DLC is amazing.
Not looking forward to installing Origin. That was going to be horrible. Stupid EA.
You'd still be playing Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, I do need to play through it. I restarted it, and I actually was liking the Infiltrator. They work a lot different than the Engineers. The Engineers was fun, especially when you can go create the turret and create the sentry, do all that stuff. But I do need to go play through it again.
I'm surprised that Engineer is apparently the least picked class.
See, that's the funny thing. That's what I started with, and that's what my friend Will's. That's what Dude plays is an Engineer.
We were probably the only 4 people who played it. Apparently.
in the world. Well, shit.
I have the most interesting Domino's stories all the time.
Yeah.
Did they just come back and bring you more pizza for free or something?
There was another Domino's dude, and he came in, and he just handed me your suit. He's like, Domino's? I'm like, okay. I already got my Domino's. He's like, is this 702? I'm like, no, 687. Oh, okay, I got the wrong house.
Okay.
So what are the chances that a Domino's guy comes right after the
randomly?
last Domino's guy? I almost took somebody else's food. I should have just signed and taken it. I got your food.
Lost.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so that apology that I wanted to make. So we were talking about Assassin's Creed and how when it went annual, nobody gave a shit.
Yeah.
And that part, I'm not going to apologize for because it's true. The sales numbers reflect that, right? You know, the sales, once they started coming out with Brotherhood, Revelations, then 3, sales numbers dropped.
Well, I think it's also any game that goes annual.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that happened with Call
Because
of
you assume that the next year there isn't going to be that much of an upgrade. Okay. Apologies to Ubisoft, to anyone watching who thought the same thing as me. Not true. Not with Assassin's Creed. I don't know what Ubisoft does. I assume it has to do with the fact that they have like 10 freaking different development houses working on Assassin's Creed, and they kind of move it all around. But Brotherhood wasn't that much of an advance from Assassin's Creed 2, but it did continue the story immediately after 2 ends, which I thought was great. It was brilliant. It was like, okay, Assassin's Creed 2 never ended now. Because like immediately after the ending, I'm still continuing the story and playing. And then Assassin's Creed Revelations was a huge leap from Brotherhood. And in presentation, and it was just really, really cool. And like even now, I mean that was years before, and even now I'm kind of hooked. And then because of that, my friend I was saying before through SharePlay said he wanted me to see Black Flag, and that is like it's like night and day.
I haven't even played Part 3 to be honest.
Creatively, there is an issue there. As far as like the cutscenes and stuff, like their storytelling, it almost seems like when you get towards the end of these games, they kind of like just throw short cutscenes. Like, okay, come on, we got to wrap this up. You know, that's how it feels. They don't have as much patience with cutscenes and storytelling towards the end of the games as they do in the beginning. So you can kind of tell that like everything is rushed at the end. You know, but other than that, I'm kind of amazed. So my apologies for saying. That once they go annual, the quality drops. Apparently, Ubisoft has something worked out for that. And Assassin's Creed I'm actually having a lot of fun, and now I can't wait to go through all of them.
Even then, I still can't. I'm still not a fan of the annualization, but like Ubisoft is still at least a better company than others like EA or something.
No, I'm not a fan of annualization either. And you know, that's kind of the thing too. I'm sure I'm not the only one who was affected by the fact that it went annual and then assumed it wasn't going to grow. Because when I saw that they were releasing one every year, I was like, well, whatever, it's just more of the same, you know, and it really isn't. So yeah, I think if by them going annual, without even saying that in their messaging, that they led people to believe that the franchise is not growing as quickly as it did before. And it's the opposite. It's growing. It seems like, at least on the PlayStation 3 side, I don't know how Assassin's Creed 3 is, but from Assassin's Creed 2 to Brotherhood to Revelations, it seemed to have grown really fast. You know, so if anything, it's the opposite. It's faster.
Yeah, but then I still like what we were saying. Doing it annually, though, I feel like it's the saturation.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And then people expect I mean, you're still going to have your fans like my friend Dude. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
He
yeah.
will buy it. He will buy it. He loves that game series. He loves it. And I mean, that's
Well,
great.
now I understand it.
I understand it too, but
You know.
it's still the saturation, and I think of a lot of it's my mentality from like the old Rock Band and Guitar Hero days. Rock Band was awesome because Harmonix knew what to do with their game.
Right.
While Activision said, "Oh, well, we own this right, so we're going to crank out as much as we can to absorb as much money as we can before. Oh, now we're going to write it off and get rid of it." And
Taking
that's
a
my
franchise
opinion.
and burying it, like driving it to the ground. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
now it looks like, in my opinion, Call of Duty's gotten to that point.
Yes.
Because-
Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed. I mean, it doesn't matter if the game is improving. If people have the belief that it's too much more of the same thing, it's too much more of the same thing, they're just not going to buy it. I really like Rockstar's approach because they say flat out, every franchise, every game we come out with, we consider a permanent franchise. But they don't come out with them every year.
Yeah.
But they come out with a game every 1 to 2 years. And it's one of their other franchises. So they kind of like rotate, you know? It's like, okay, we got Grand Theft Auto, then we got Red Dead, then we got whatever, let's say Bully. Whatever. I don't
It'd
know.
be amazing if they did eventually. Oh, guess what? Bully 2.
Yeah, you know. But they can kind of, then they had the LA Noire where they tried with Team Bondi, which Team Bondi was a catastrophic, it was a horrible team that wasn't paying its people, and they're gone. But
There was a lot of problems with them.
yeah, but still, I mean, the fact that they kind of rotate their franchises and they feel fresh because they come back after like 4 or 5 years, and then you're
Yeah.
like, oh, finally, you know. And it's not
And
like
the leaps that they make.
yeah, and
Oh,
just
yeah.
that difference in mentality. It's like finally and oh again, you know. It's like two different messages just by having the games on the shelf or not having the games on the shelf.
Well, I mean, even I was telling her, one of my friends, Justin, he plays a lot of Call of Duty. He plays a lot of multiplayer Call of Duty, and he's very good at it. But even him, I heard him talking about this, and he said that even he's kind of like, I don't want to say disappointed, but even he's looking at like Advanced Warfare, and he's just like, you know, I don't even think he said he's even going to probably get it. He might eventually, but he's like, they're blatantly ripping off Titanfall.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But you know what's funny? For me, it's the opposite. I want it to play the single player because Kevin Spacey.
True.
Because Kevin Spacey. It's all about Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey as a villain in anything is amazing. I just love Kevin Spacey.
Going all the way back to Usual Suspects and Seven and
Anything Kevin Spacey. I mean, think about it. Just like you did. Reminisce about any awesome movie with Kevin Spacey. Reminisce about any movie with Kevin Spacey as the bad guy, and you say to yourself, awesome movie.
well, even the shitty movies, because even like Superman Returns was horrible. Even him though, he still did at least a decent Lex Luthor.
To me, I loved him as Lex Luthor. And like at first I was like, that's a
He was
really
the-
shitty pick for
in
a
my-
Lex Luthor.
in-
And then I was like, oh my god, this is great.
In my only opinion, that was the only saving grace about that movie. The rest of it was pretty garbage. I'm not a big Superman fan, period. But even then, though, I was like, Kevin Spacey, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey sells Advanced Warfare. At least for
Actually,
me.
honestly, he's one of the big reasons it probably has sold well
Yeah.
because I'm not seeing
Sounded like you said asshole well.
it has sold well.
I was going to say,
Well, but,
they are pretty good at being
I can't-
assholes.
I've not been seeing any really good positive things about the game.
Yeah, I think Activision's strategy. I mean, they're making money, so I want to say that their strategy doesn't work, but they are making a lot of money. So, I mean,
So it's selling, but I'm still thinking I have a feeling if Kevin Spacey wasn't in it, it wouldn't sell as well.
I think companies like Ubisoft for this generation, and of course Rockstar, goes without saying, but I think Rockstar and Ubisoft are the best positioned this generation. And I'm kind of surprised at Ubisoft because in the PS3 area when they introduced Assassin's Creed, like the first game, I really wasn't impressed at all. And I remember that whole time, like Mirror's Edge, wasn't that Ubisoft also?
If I remember reading Assassin's Creed originally was going to be another Prince of Persia
Yeah,
game.
it was.
Was it?
Yeah, because they made Sands of Time and all those, which were amazing games. But then they were going to do another one, and then something happened, and they decided to do a brand new thing, which it was risky. And I mean, even I didn't really, I thought it was okay. It was just too tedious.
It was.
But
It was
then
very
2 came
repetitive.
out
It was buggy.
and just because the story in the first Assassin's Creed was, in my opinion, it just really wasn't there.
Yeah.
I love the story.
See, I didn't think it was as.
I don't think it was well presented.
I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
Two,
yeah.
It's-
Okay.
Yeah.
Now when 2 came out,
And that's why I loved
it.
it because it was sophisticated and it really was different. And the fact that there's 2 timelines, that there's Desmond's timeline, and then there's whoever he goes back into from the anime. Wow, we're talking Assassin's Creed now. It's not even about PlayStation anymore. But anyway, but the fact that they have those 2 timelines. When I play Assassin's Creed, I don't even, I'm playing as Altair or or Ezio. And that's the character I play and I do all the action with. But the story I'm really following is Desmond's. I'm like, when does Desmond finally get this apple? Or whatever the hell they call it now.
Maybe it's just my mentality. I thought Desmond's story was unique and all, but I was more interested in the history and how much they were going to follow the history because I love history, and that's why I'm actually interested because I thought I remember hearing a rumor that Unity, is it Unity, the one that's about the French Revolution, that actually the French Revolution is not the main part. Apparently, I've heard. I don't know if this is just a rumor, but I heard that it actually happens. A good chunk of it will happen during World War II. And that you're going to be.
I haven't heard that.
Like I said, it was on Kotaku, if I remember correctly, and I think it was just maybe.
Oh yeah, that there's like a certain section in World War II,
and that's got me interested because of being like a French resistance during that makes me very curious, especially during that time of war. You're going with a bladed assassin.
Yeah.
During, technologically advancing to firearms?
Well, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, in other Assassin's Creed, they have firearms. They have cannon fire, pirate ships,
Yeah, but not to the extent of submachine guns
and this
and
is,
heavy machine guns.
Well, yeah. But that's the thing that I love about what they do in Assassin's Creed, is that story is about Desmond. And so when you're going into history, the explanation is that that apple... that little device is behind all of it. That's who empowers everybody. And when you do the puzzles in the Assassin's Creeds, you see all these names pop up in the puzzles that tell you, oh, these guys had the apples, like George Washington, Genghis Khan, all these people. And then your whole story, that you're going back in time, is you're going through these memories, your memories that go back into your ancestors in your DNA. So that you could go through, access all of their memories, so that you could track down where the apple actually is. I keep calling it the apple, but I don't know if that's
Piece of Eden.
Piece of Eden, yeah.
Well, like I said, it's not that I didn't like Desmond's story. I thought it was unique and I liked it, but just maybe because part of me that's more of a history and
yeah. No. Yeah, I see the Piece of Eden as an excuse to go through all of these periods in history, and I think it's a brilliant excuse. And what hooked me on them is that originally, and I don't know if anybody remembers this, but originally Assassin's Creed was supposed to be a trilogy. The story was supposed to be about Desmond.
I remember that.
And they said this is supposed to be a trilogy, and they ended the first game with no ending. You're just back in your cell, and there's this puzzle that you're never going to know if you solved it or not until the next game comes out. And I sat there with that puzzle being like, oh, man, what does this mean? This person before me,
wrote all the...
number 16 or whatever. No, it was really cool. Back on the PlayStation topic and their and their hardships right now.
Anyways.
What do you think... And we could probably wrap this up pretty soon. I don't think we have to have a really long Masamune discussion. Let's go around the table since it's only 3 of us. Do you think that this happening to PlayStation for the holiday season will have a dramatic impact on their sales and maybe make some people shift over to the Xbox One camp? Or do you think this is something that Sony and PlayStation could just kind of brush off their shoulder, fix up, and say, hey, no big deal?
Me personally, I don't think it's just a bump in the road. It's all companies have the problems. Xbox has their problems. Wii has their problems. It's just a bumpy road. They might see a little bit of a difference, but honestly, in the long run, it's not going to matter. They'll probably have a quick fix by next week.
Yeah,
of a lot of the problems fixing.
Yeah.
Now
I'm kind of shocked they don't have it already.
Now,
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are upset
a lot of
about.
the little stuff. But like the alpha problems and stuff like that, that's of course going to be a little. I don't know if it'll even really get to the point where it's even fixed, because by the time they get around to fixing it, the game will all be out.
Yeah.
But it's just a bump in the road. It's like I said, all companies have their problems. Xbox will have their own problems, and I think it's just a small bump.
What do you think?
Well, I think it being the holiday season, a lot of people who were going to get a PS4 already have it anyways. And a lot of the parents that are buying it, they're buying whatever their kid wants anyways. And especially now, too, it's all in the exclusives in the games that you want. I mean, if you've got particular games that you want that are exclusives, you can't hardly just jump to Xbox One and not have them.
Actually, and then, I mean, a lot of the people for the holiday seasons are probably already preparing for buying that system.
Mm-hmm.
So this problem, being this early in the season, will be fixed by then. And
Well,
a
and I
lot of
think-
people that probably don't even have the system yet won't even know about the problem.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Unless they're hardcore
Parents aren't going to, I mean, it's not like it was so major that it shows up on the news or anything like that. If you're not searching for it
Yeah.
and you're a casual, you're not even going to notice.
Yeah. Yeah. I see that. And I mean, we can't deny the fact that like they're still the fastest selling console.
Yeah, well, and the
3.3 million in 3 months.
And the problems don't really affect typical gaming to begin with. I mean, they're all pretty specific in their issues. I mean, the Call of Duty might have really upset a few people, but it's not so much that they're like, I'm going to return this right now and I'm going to take this
I don't know.
console
You know
back.
how the mentality of some games.
Well, that's how it
are.
was with Destiny.
Well, it's
Well,
just-
why do I have to wait 2 hours to play? Why has it got to be Pacific time
Well,
and
it's
it's
not
released?
even Destiny. It's all people.
Yeah, those people that just can't wait, they would make me mad. I mean, come on. How long have you guys had PlayStation and PlayStation Network? You should know by now when your store updates.
Well,
If you
any-
don't, the problem
any
is
system.
you.
And
Any
it-
system. I mean,
And it said
fuck.
Pacific time on the ads the whole time anyways.
Yeah.
I mean,
But any system,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna. I mean, come on, be some freaking patient. God, I remember.
take it back to the store right now at midnight.
I remember patch days on like fucking Tuesdays.
Oh my gosh.
Getting home, you're like, oh, the patch should be hitting. Literally, you couldn't log on until the next day because of how
Yeah.
many problems. So I mean, just get over it, Jesus.
Download time 7.5 hours.
Nope, I've waited 20 seconds. I can't get in the
Nope.
multiplayer.
Canceling
login.
my
I'm done.
subscription
I'm
right
done.
now.
I'm quitting. Jesus.
Can I?
You'll be
I just realized I never asked you guys this. What were you for Halloween? Did you guys do anything for Halloween?
No, I was at work. I put on a polar bear hat. Because at Coca-Cola, they had just said the day before that you cannot wear anything that does not say Coca-Cola on it. All right, then. I'm putting on my goofy hat that's made for children with my big ears.
Yeah, and I got home, and I knew she was probably going to be home. And you got home pretty decent. It was like, what, 6:30-ish? I think.
I don't
And I
remember.
just- I gotta-
6:37. That's still me working
Yeah.
11 hours.
I found the article. I wasn't just playing with my phone. I was trying to find that article because I wanted to close that around the table thing by mentioning this last paragraph.
Oh, yes, I remember you posting this. I didn't
Yes.
get a chance to really read it because I was
What
at
is
work, but I remember you posting this.
Okay. And I'll quote this after I guess I say my piece. I don't think that it's going to have much like you guys said. It's a bump in the road, and I don't think it's going to have an effect on PlayStation sales. I think it will have a minor one because some hardcore gamers might go, "Oh, wait a minute, let's think about this here." You know, especially people who were hardcore Xbox 360 fans. They, were part of that audience. A lot of those shifted over to the Sony camp because of Don Matrick's messaging when they revealed the Xbox. So I think those people now might be rethinking because gamers forget. We forget pretty quickly. It's kind of like wrestling. You could be a good guy one week, you could be a bad guy next month. We forget that you were a good guy last month. Now you're just a bad guy and we boo you. And I think that's kind of like how gamers are with manufacturers. It's like you you were a good guy last gen, you're a bad guy this gen.
Yeah, well,
You know?
the hate on Activision, and then it shifted over to EA.
Yeah, and then it
now-
stuck with EA. Now they changed their CEO, and then people praised EA when they got rid of the online pass thing, and now they hate EA again because they were like, oh wait, we forgot about the online pass thing. We remember that we used to hate them, so we're going to go back to hating them.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to be a big deal as it stands right now, but it is piling up. And I think anybody who really tries to, stack the pros and cons together will say, hey, wait a minute, when it comes to updates, which is what you want, that's the hardware support. That is what the last generation and this generation is all about, is you're extending that life cycle by providing features for that hardware. And what that hardware is not just going to be capable of doing today, but what it's going to be capable of doing tomorrow. And Sony was losing that race because, let's face it, Xbox One is in the news twice a month, guaranteed. One is Games with Gold, which isn't as good as PlayStation Plus, but they're getting better.
They're getting a lot better.
Yeah. We have Games with Gold, which happens once a month, and their update every month. Their hardware is getting better every month, while Sony's PlayStation 4 is not. It's still PlayStation 4. And I love my PlayStation 4. I have a lot of fun with my PlayStation 4. It doesn't make me want to shift over to Xbox One because they have an update every month. But you know that if they have a couple of updates that you freak out about, and you're like, I wish I had that on the PlayStation 4, and Sony doesn't get it, you're going to start thinking about jumping ship and maybe getting that Xbox One. And maybe because they have that feature and they're going to have that feature for a long time with the PlayStation 4 not having it, maybe you'll start buying games on that system as opposed to your other one. And then who knows when that becomes your primary system. So the point is that you need PlayStation 4 to stay on top of their game and keep updating and stay in that race. Here they are with their first really big update, and they screwed it up. And the game that came out prior to the update was screwed up. And the alpha test that was supposed to come after that got screwed up. And one of the biggest games of the year, not for me, not for us, but Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, that's like the best-selling franchise in video games. And that game gets messed up with preloaded. These are really bad messages to send right before the holidays. There is some damage control to do. Now, for the network, for the network issues that they're having and the update, this guy on Polygon, and Polygon is a great news source because usually they're very impartial, but this one was an opinion post, and really it read as a rant. And I understand, and I'm not going to go through the whole article because it's a very long one. It's a very long rant, but what I loved about it was the closer. The closing two paragraphs really is what I'm going to go after. But to give you a little bit of a background on this, what he is talking about, I think it's a he. I don't know. I can't see the author name here. Sorry, it's my phone. Basically what they're talking about is we've complained about online and providing services for a very long time. Outages are not acceptable. When you buy a game like Destiny, you expect it to work, especially because it requires an online connection, and the game is based on online. So if you go to Destiny and you go to play and you can't access the game for 2 days, that's unacceptable. You paid money for a game that you want to access. Games with lag with an online component, don't bring out the game. If you can't support the online component, don't do it in the first place. You can't half-ass it. We don't buy half-assed. You don't buy a car with 2 tires. Anyway, obviously, this person who wrote this opinion was a frustrated gamer, much like all the people who want to play online, which I'm finally starting to get into. And here are the closing 2 paragraphs. Everybody wants this stuff to work, and I think sports gamers are tolerant of the idea that in filling the contractual obligation to their leagues to launch each year, there's no chance for sports games to beta test online features. That doesn't mean it's acceptable to place more of the experience behind an online connection and hype the hell out of those features when last year's edition couldn't get the job done. And if a publisher isn't going to learn from that mistake, then seeing one feel some of the pain and control, he's talking about Evolve now, because Evolve came out with the beta, they wanted everybody to test the alpha, and they wanted everybody to test it, and now the developer got screwed, not a consumer. that supposedly nobody's listening to. So he's saying, and if a publisher is going to learn from that mistake, then seeing one feel some of the pain and controller-throwing disappointment that its customers have experienced is good enough for now. Who knows, maybe a console maker will actually listen to it too. No one seems to be listening to us. So now that the PlayStation Network has impacted 2K and their alpha test to plug their game, maybe finally now that it's a B2B issue and not a business to a consumer issue, maybe now finally they'll understand that they need stability in their network. And I understand, and I know the number, $358 million. I know that Sony invested a lot of money to get Gaikai. SharePlay is awesome. I have fiber optics. I have great download. I have great upload speeds. My PlayStation 4 can cap that. It can give me all of that. But if it's not working to the best of its ability in an online connection, in an online connected world, I mean, that's the words, those are their taglines. It's an online connected world now. Everybody wants to be able to speak to each other instantly. They want to connect with each other instantly. And we want to play games and be connected online and play those games instantly and without any trouble. Maybe now that they've affected a publisher, they'll realize that this is not acceptable service and that we need that fixed. And we hear these headlines from the Sony camp, and I hate to say it because I love Sony and I love everything they stand for, but we hear it from the Sony camp way more than we hear it from anybody else, as far as what I'm seeing in the headlines. And right now, before the holiday, this was not the time. This is the time that it really should have been perfect. So Masamune, awesome update. I really love SharePlay, but as awesome as that was, get your shit together. Because PlayStation 4 is awesome. Fastest selling console, will probably be the best selling console. Got to shape up before you ship out.
Well, they need to, honestly, they need to take a page out of Xbox's book.
Yeah.
Instead of doing massive patches and releasing them once every couple months, do little patches once a month. And then any problems that are from that one patch, you can then figure out what caused that problem and fix that a lot quicker than you do a big fucking patch.
And marketing-wise, Masamune was a big hit marketing-wise, right? Everybody was talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
When I did the gaming news in 2 minutes and I put Masamune keyword in YouTube, everybody wanted to see that news.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of the more popular gaming news in 2 minutes was because it had a screenshot of what Masamune would look like. People were interested. It was there for marketing. But Xbox One, doing it every single month. So every single month, people want to see what's going on. With Sony, once a year.
Exactly.
Shape that up. We gotta keep up, and that's exactly why we changed the architecture and the PlayStation 4. Right? That's what Mark Cerny said. It was this is the time where the console isn't just shipped and said, "Here you go. Here's your Nintendo. Here's your controllers. Go buy cartridges, and this is your system for the next 5 years." This is your console for the next 10 years, and what it is today, it won't be in 5. So yeah, I think Sony needs to take online connectivity and growth for their console hardware very seriously, and I don't think it will hit them or hurt them right now because we're still, I mean, we're close to the holiday. Maybe the impact will be slight, but nothing that'll really hurt them because they're so far ahead.
It's
But
still not going to be that much. Maybe.
but in long term,
Still.
2015 comes around and Xbox One has 12 more firmware updates, and Sony only has 1. You know, those systems might look very different by the end of 2015.
It's just consistency. If they can
Yeah.
if they can get back up and stay consistent, then they'd be all right.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. And with that, guys, thanks for joining us. As always, we want you to be part of the conversation. If you have any questions or want to add any of your opinions, please do so below in the comments. If there's any topics you'd like to see us talk about, definitely let us know because we're always looking for new hot topics to discuss. And we are trying to keep a weekly format. We did skip last week. But that's because I was horribly sick, and I didn't want anybody else to get sick with me. Otherwise, I totally would have done it. But yeah, we will be consistently doing this every week. So if you have any topics you'd like for us to discuss or have anything to add, please do so in the comments below, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye.